Welcome Year 8 to your summer project. So this summer we are inviting you to do a piece of research around the idea of 2020 has been a year of seismic change for the world. The term seismic means enormous or great, so a big change that has happened to the world this year. Now you have 4 questions on which you could base your research. These titles for year 8 are: select 2 or more trending hashtags from across 2020 and analyse their impact on global society. 2020 has been a year of seismic change. Compare and contrast 2 or more changes that have happened in 2020 to conclude on which change has been the most significant. Assess the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the global environment, and what has been the driving force behind change in 2020, the government or the people? The final question is the one this PowerPoint is going to focus on. So watch through this PowerPoint, then go and watch the other PowerPoints on the other 3 titles, then choose which you are going to focus on for your research. So now we're going to break down the question together. What has been the driving force behind change in 2020, the government or the people? So the term driving force relates to someone or something that has the power to make things happen. These things probably wouldn't have happened without that driving force. This is also known as a catalyst. When talking about change, we need to discuss what things were like before and how things have occurred to cause differences when compared to now. The government refers to the group of people that have the power to rule in the UK according to law. This is not just the Prime Minister of the country, it's not a person. The government is the Prime Minister, the House of Lords, the House of Commons, the monarch, and all the different people who come together to pass laws. So the government is the group of people that decides new laws and new policies for the country and puts them into place. The people refers to everyday man and woman in Britain. So now we're going to look at ways in which we can get started on this question. So the most important part of researching is the information collection. So this is the part right at the beginning where you conduct all of your research and get all your key ideas in order to put them together and form your presentation. Now, information collection can take many different varieties. You can have mind maps to help you with this if you're quite a visual learner. You can do notes either in bullet points, list format, on post-its, on separate pieces of paper. You can use subheadings to separate out that information so it's very clear to you when you come to writing up. But in order to focus in our research, we've given some key questions here that could get you started. So you could start by looking at what changes happened in 2020. Now you're going to find quite a substantial amount of change here, so really try to narrow down on a few of those key aspects that appeal to you. How did the government cause change in 2020? How did the people cause change in 2020? Who had the most impact on change and why? So that's that comparison of government and people. And what impact might these events have had on the UK? Some of the events you find, the impact will still be ongoing, so you're going to have to take that into account when you're doing your research. Despite this, even if it is ongoing, it can still have had already a significant impact. So make sure you definitely look into that in some detail. So the key to very strong research is the sources of information that you use, and it's always best to use a wide variety. of sources of information rather than just sticking to one. Luckily, there are hundreds of different ways in which you can research your title. I've included a few here, but the list is really endless. So whatever you find will be useful in one way or another. Now I'm going to start with Google. Google is invaluable to us in the modern era because we can type in any question and get millions of results that may or may not be useful to us. Now, the vast majority will be very helpful. There will be some where you may question whether or not it's any use and whether it's authentic and real. If that's the case, what I suggest you do is a bit more further research into that particular source, just to ensure that the information coming from it is accurate. The second type of information you can use is a local library. Now, many libraries do offer online services as well, so if yours hasn't quite opened back up again, you can always refer to them. Now, they do not only contain books, they have newspapers and magazines and articles from around the world that aren't probably accessible on Google, so make sure you get down to your library and have a look around those. Magazines are useful in that they give us journalists' columns, so opinions and views and interpretations on different things that have happened. You can also see the way in which big companies try to present events, so whether or not they have a view on events. Radios also do broadcasts, so we're not talking about music radios, we're talking about ones such as BBC. So on those we have news reports, and also people go on there to give their opinions on events, which you can use as well. So similarly, newspapers, as I've already gone through, have those ideas of columns and journalists giving their views on events around the world. And finally, the one we probably look over is word of mouth. So you have got a question that is asking you to look at change. In order to judge that amount of change, you're going to have to talk to the people around you and see if they feel the government or the people have had more power. So do speak to friends and family and the people in your environment and see their opinions. Add these into your research. They will be brilliant in strengthening some of that detail you have in there. Now we get to the exciting bit, ways in which you could present your research. And this really is your research, your piece of work. So it does fall to you to decide how you want to present that to school. You could do it through an information board, a display board with lots of key information on it, lots of the different pieces of views and opinions you have picked up. You could do it through an infographic, which you'll see just in the middle of the page here. An infographic combines both images and research together. It's very eye-catching, it's very modern and up-to-date, and you will have seen them placed all over school as well. You could do it as a news report. So news reports can be either biased, so have one viewpoint, or they can be multi-viewed, so that would be something to explore. You could do it as a school report, as a voice report, just like this, in which you conduct your research and you present that. You could even do it as a piece of artwork or a model if you feel like that would be sufficient enough to get the points across that you need making. There are endless ways in which you could present your research. All you need to do is ensure that the key points are there, that the content is strong, and that your overall arching opinion on the question is very clear. The rest is up to you. How will your project be marked? Now, you'll have put a lot of effort into this project. You should be looking at between 8 and 10 hours to give us a fully formed project. And you can pick up marks for many different criteria because we know how much time and work you'll put into this. So, effort is the first one. The more effort you put in, the more points you will receive. That one's pretty clear cut. Content is the second criteria, and that links to the depth you've gone into. So how much information you've gathered and how much you've separated that out and made it clear and looked at all the different sides of the coin, all the different opinions on the question. And finally, creativity. So we were talking about the ways in which you can present your research, and this is where you can really shine. So maybe you've created this fantastic model that highlights all the important opinions. You're going to pick up marks for your creativity around that too. On the next slide, you'll find the prizes that are up for grabs after submission. Now, every student who enters will get 25 credits. So think about that and the impact that can have. It's going to get you towards that first certificate. And at the end of this, you're going to have something very valuable moving forward. You're going to have a piece of constructed research that shows your ability to everybody who sees it. So with that said, I hope you all enjoy this taking part in the summer project and that it fills a bit of that time. If you have any questions, forward on to your school. Hope you have a lovely summer and work very hard.
We have got some incredibly exciting summer homework projects planned for you guys. So there are 2 projects available for each year group, one under the heading of STEM and the other a year of seismic change. It's really important that you answer one question from each of these projects. When you go onto our website and have a look at some of these questions, you will find they are incredibly interesting and provide you with an opportunity to research and create some fantastic project ideas. You will be wondering how your projects will be marked. So in September, form tutors will mark each project based on the following criteria: effort, content and creativity. They will award a grade 1 to 4 in each category, with 1 being outstanding. Just want to give you a few top tips on how you can achieve an outstanding grading in each of these. It's really important that as part of your research that you do for each of these projects that you show that you have gone above and beyond. Present your work in a creative and unique way to catch the attention of your audience, and think about the content that you include within each project. It's really important that the content that you include answers the question that has been set to you. For every grade 1 you achieve, your name will be entered into a prize draw. There's a separate prize draw for each category: effort, content and creativity. And if you get a grade 1 in all 3, you will have the chance to enter a 4th prize draw. So to the best bit then, how will you be rewarded? So for completing each project, you will receive 25 credits from your form tutor. So 25 credits for the STEM project and 25 credits for completing a year of seismic change project. So in total, by completing these 2 projects, you will be eligible for 50 credits come September. That is equivalent to a bronze certificate. In addition to the 50 credits, there's a fantastic opportunity here for you to win an Apple iPad. Now, there are 4 prize draws available to you depending on the grading you secure on effort, content and creativity. If your form tutor awards you with a grade 1 for any of the 3 categories, your name will be entered into the prize draw for these. Additionally, if you achieve a grade 1 in effort, content and creativity, all 3 criteria, your name will be entered into a 4th prize draw as well, increasing your chances of winning an iPad. Both projects will be marked separately, therefore there is an opportunity here for your name to be entered 8 different times. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact your academy by the info@ email address. We are incredibly excited about these projects and cannot wait to see the work that you produce. And most importantly, we can't wait to welcome you back in September.